Hello, BookTube. I'm Peg, the Book Prize Addict, and I'm going to be back talking about the PEN America Literary Awards today, another category. But before I get to that, I want to give two exciting book prize items of news that have just come to my attention recently. Just this morning, I was looking at my videos input, and Mel of Mel's Bookland Adventure, who I'm sure you all know, has just put up a video on a book prize that I had not even heard about and looks so interesting. It's called the Jollick Prize, and it's for British people of color. And she gives a wonderful rundown on all the long list of those, and it's really interesting. And she's so good at this kind of book because she reads books from all over the world and all age groups, and she's I'll really look forward to her ongoing reviews of these books. I think she's probably going to talk about more of them as she goes and read through them. So that's great. Another book prize lover out there. Okay, the other item of news I read about, and it concerns the big American Literary Prize, which we call the National Book Awards. And I just saw that this year it's going to include another category on translated works, which is fantastic. As I mentioned the other day, I think more and more people are becoming aware of translated works and wanting to learn about writings from other countries. So this is great. That book prize will be coming out in probably this summer sometime. They'll have their long list out. It runs kind of concurrently with the Man Booker Prize. So, also talking about translations, let me remind you, we're all looking forward to the Man Booker International Prize, which comes out in March. There's an actual date for it, but this has some of the best translated works, and they'll have a long list, and there will be much discussion about them. So, we're looking forward to that. Okay, so on to today's list that I'm going to talk to you about. This is, again, from the PEN American Literary Awards. They have 8 different categories, and this is a nonfiction type category. It's funny, since I've been watching BookTube, I'm really into nonfiction anymore. I used to just look at the fiction on these prize lists, but BookTube, all the great reviews I've seen on nonfiction has gotten me interested in that. Anyway, but back to the PEN America is part of PEN International, and it has over 100 chapters in different countries, and their stated mission is to unite writers, celebrate creative expression, and defend the liberties that make it possible. And they work to help persecuted authors, and now some of those that are having immigration problems. Okay, so the American version has just been announced, and it'll be awarded February 20th at a big ceremony in New York. And I went through the translated category just the other day, and today I'm going to be talking about their finalist in what they call the essay category. And here's what they're looking for in that. They're looking for book of essays published in 2017 that exemplifies the dignity and esteem that the essay form imparts to literature. So, and there are some really good ones on there. I'm just going to go quickly through them. The first one, called You Play the Girl, I talked about just the other day, last week, because it's also on the prize on the Book Critics Circle. In there, they have a criticism category, and it's in that category. And I love this title, You Play the Girl, on Playboy Bunnies, Stepford Wives, Train Wrecks, and Other Mixed Messages. And this deals with how culture shapes ideas of who women are. Next, we have Alpine Apprentice. This is a memoir by Sarah Gorham. Now, she is a poet and has 4 volumes of poetry out. So even though this is nonfiction, it does have kind of a poetic flair to the language. It's a part travelogue, part memoir of her school days in a tiny boarding school in Switzerland. And at some point, she compares it to kind of a boot camp. Anyway, I really like this picture. If you look closely, that's the Alps in the background, and then that's books, older books that are cut to form the shape of the mountain. I hope they weren't good books that they cut up. Okay, next we have what's probably going to be the best-selling of these. It's Ursula Le Guin's No Time to Spare, Thinking About What Matters. This is, of course, an ironic title because, as you probably know, she was a very, very famous science fiction writer, and she died just last month. This was published before she died, but it's been written quite recently, and it is from a blog that she started when she was 81 years old, and it talks about her old age and what still matters, and her unceasing wonder at the world. I'm getting to the age where I like it, where people older than me are still writing and talking about loving literature and still reading. Gives me hope that there's something good about being old. Anyway, I'm sure this one will sell well, or already is, and I'm looking forward to reading it. Okay, next we have, that one's a little hard to see because it is so beautiful, Unraveling the Mystique of the American West by Robert Leonard Reed. Now, he has written a lot about the outdoors and the beauty of nature, and has received grants from the Sierra Art Foundation. And this includes essays that he has written over 4 decades about the outdoors and the importance of outdoors to his life. And I guess it's mainly just with Western type territories in this one. Okay, I saved the best till last. This one is called Finalists. Women Walk the City in Paris, New York, Venice, and London. I think Tokyo's in there too, actually. Anyway, by Laura Elkin. Now, this comes about from a term. Flaneuse is the feminine version of the masculine flaneur, which is kind of idea of they talked a lot about in 19th century literature of a man that walks the city, and you think of it as an author or an artist and sees things, and then they talk about later. And the flaneur was mentioned by Proust in some of his writing, and other writers. It just had the feel of a elite kind of person who had the time to walk through the city and watch things. And in those days, women didn't have the freedom to just walk around cities in any place they wanted to. So this is kind of a reply to that by using the female term for it and putting a skirt on the man walking, you can see. Anyway, and this actually, she talks about not only her own walks in what she sees in a literature way in these different cities, but she goes back to different authors, women authors that have talked about taking walks through the city and writing. She mentions Virginia Woolf, who, as you know, in Mrs. Dalloway, it's a walk through the city. So I am really looking forward to reading this one because I love to take walks, I've mentioned before. Anyway, so that is the 5 on on the essay portion. Let me know if you plan to read any of these, and I'll be back with more later. Bye.